Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video tonight there is lots to negotiate about, so let's delve straight into the topic. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on David De Gea because there is huge developments on David De Gea. Also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Paul Pogba. I have been talking with you about Paul Pogba on a regular basis. And of course, after that, I am going to go through with you, the players that I think are going to leave Manchester United, when the summer transfer market does reopen, because we are planning to get rid of around 5 or 6 players. And I think, we are hoping to generate around £100 million for the 5 or 6 players we do get rid of when the summer transfer market does reopen. Of course, you've seen my other videos that I've done today. Of course, you saw my video that I did this morning. I give you Manchester United's best formation. I've already made an admission and said that I think, we look very, very expansive with that 3-5-2 formation. So I think that's a formation Manchester United should stick with. But I think, quite a lot of United fans will have different perceptions than me on that aspect. Also, on my second video I did today, obviously, I give you a squad review. Oh, no, sorry, that was on the first video. I give you the squad review. Obviously, it was the second video. I give you the review on Manchester United season, of course, before it got suspended and that. So, yeah, I have spoken with you about a lot today, and I've got another, video uploading now. I give you the latest news on Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. I also give you an update on some of Liverpool's transfer news. But, yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been talking about today. So now let's delve into it. So the news is regarding David De Gea that he is keen to stay at Manchester United as he approaches his 10th year at the football club. Now, David De Gea has been at Manchester United for 9 years. He has been a long servant at the football club. Of course, David De Gea has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. We paid around, was it 17 or 18 million pounds for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. Now, obviously, David De Gea, has been a liability, I think, in the past couple of seasons, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. But I've still got to make an admission, David De Gea is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Because obviously, David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club. Obviously, he's won the club's player of the year like 4 times out of the past 6 years, reflecting on his good run of performances. And I think David De Gea has made, 400 appearances or nearly 400 appearances in all competitions. He's definitely made over 300 appearances in the Premier League as David De Gea and that. But yeah, so analysing it, I think he's had a good 6.5 years out of the 9 years he has been at the football club, David De Gea. Now, obviously, revert back to 2015, which was around 5 years ago now. Real Madrid were very, very close to getting him on deadline day. But due to a fax machine, his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise. But, Real Madrid have been in for David De Gea, for several years. Don't forget, PSG and Juventus have also been in for him in the past. This was actually, before he signed a new long-term contract with the football club, because it was last September, David De Gea, I think, had signed a 4-year contract, was it, with an option of a further year. And David De Gea, of course, is on 375 grand a week at Manchester United. So he's the highest paid at the club, and he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, is David De Gea. Yes, he is in that. But, I do expect, David De Gea to remain our number one goalkeeper next season. Because obviously, there was talks earlier on this season about, Dean Henderson possibly, becoming our number one next season, because obviously, Dean Henderson is out on loan at Sheffield United. I think he's been on loan with Sheffield United for the past 2 seasons. He's also had a couple of other loan spells as Dean Henderson. But I still probably don't think he's good enough yet to become our number one goalkeeper. Maybe in the next year or two, he may, emulate into David De Gea's, level. But, I think Dean Henderson probably, will come back to the football club after his loan spell with Sheffield United. But if he isn't to become number one, then maybe, we'll look to get rid of Dean Henderson on a permanent transfer. I think Dean Henderson has got a contract with the football club until 2022. Obviously, we've got other goalkeepers as well. We've got Sergio Romero. He's our second choice goalkeeper, Sergio Romero. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper, but I don't think he's good enough yet, to become our number one goalkeeper, is Sergio Romero. Also, too, we've got Joe Pereira, but he's out on loan, I think, with Hearts, if I'm right. Obviously, we've got Lee Grant. Lee Grant seldom played since he came from Stoke back in the summer of 2018. I think he's been injured and he's a long-term absentee, is Lee Grant. So we have got quite a few goalkeepers, but I think David De Gea will remain our number one next season. And David De Gea, probably does see his foreseeable future at Manchester United. I think he's like, 28 or 29 years of age. But if David De Gea is to leave the football club, I think he will make a return back to Spain, because don't forget he began his footballing career in Spain, his family's in Spain, his girlfriend and that's in Spain. So, let's just put that into the equation, So, yeah, so reportedly, David De Gea is keen on staying at the football club, and he has now nearly been at Manchester United a decade. And I think he's also made, he's kept over 100 clean sheets in the Premier League. So that's the breaking news regarding David De Gea. So he has, been talking about his future with the football club. But like I said, we've had a lot of good goalkeepers up and down the generations. I thought also Edwin van der Sar was a very, very good goalkeeper for us. I think, when we had Fabian Partey, he was a pretty decent goalkeeper for us. So, we have had some, good goalkeepers up and down the generations. Schmeichel, he was another one. But, yeah. But even if, we were to sell De Gea, this summer or, maybe next year or maybe in the next couple of years, I still think, we can get more money, for De Gea than what we paid for him. I still think maybe we can get around maybe 60 or 70 million pounds for David De Gea, definitely, and that, that's my perception on it. That's my perception on that. So yeah, so that's the latest news regarding David De Gea. So I am now going to delve into the news regarding Paul Pogba. I have been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Paul Pogba on a regular basis. So the latest news is now regarding Paul Pogba that Juventus are reportedly willing to put an offer in for Paul Pogba. And also, there's a swap deal that's been put into the equation. So reportedly Juventus are willing to offer at least one of their players in a swap deal for Paul Pogba. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of rumours emerging out of the media anyway, saying that Paul Pogba could make a possible return back to Turin, because don't forget, Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, of course, before he rejoined Manchester United back in 2016. And we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba, so he is our most expensive signing. So, there's a few players' names that have been put into the equation. These are the players I think, that Juventus are willing to offer us. So, one of the players is Aaron Ramsey. Now, there was talks quite a few weeks ago of Juventus offering us Aaron Ramsey as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. And I think, a lot of Manchester United fans, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that would actually, take Aaron Ramsey at the football club. I think the main explanation is because Aaron Ramsey, has got a very, very good pedigree in the Premier League. Don't forget, Aaron Ramsey endured 11 years with Arsenal. He was a very, very long-serving player for Arsenal, was Aaron Ramsey. Of course, Arsenal paid around £5 million in from Cardiff. Like I said, in 2008, before I went to Arsenal, we tried to get Aaron Ramsey. Of course, Aaron Ramsey made over, 300 appearances in all competitions during his 11 years with Arsenal. And I think around 262 in the Premier League. And he's a box-to-box midfielder predominantly, but you can also put him on the left wing, you can also put him on the right wing. So he is very, very versatile. And I think Ramsey is 28 or 29 years of age. I think he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time since his arrival in Turin. Juventus got him on a free transfer from Arsenal last summer. And I think Aaron Ramsey is Juventus' second highest paid player, just behind Cristiano Ronaldo. So he's one player, that Juventus are willing to offer us as part of a swap deal of, probably going back to Juventus. There's also been talks of, Miralem Pjanic, however you pronounce his name. There's been talks of him possibly coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. Also, too, Adrien Rabiot has been mentioned. Don't forget, we've been in for Adrien Rabiot in the past. I think Juventus did get Adrien Rabiot last summer, by the way, from PSG. So there you go. But like I said, swap deals have been on the agenda, and swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. Obviously, the other week, there was talks of, Matty Stilic coming to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. Now, obviously, like I updated you the other day, I'm going to reiterate what I mentioned. Obviously, it did say that PSG have now expressed their interest in Paul Pogba. And it said, that PSG, this was stemming from the Italian press, and I think some of it was stemming from the French press as well. It said that PSG had offered us 2 of their players in a swap deal for Paul Pogba, and that's Julian Draxler and Angel Di Maria. They're the 2 players they are willing to offer us. And I'm very, very, shocked, that PSG have put this bid in. I'm very, very sceptical that this swap deal will go through. I don't know if there's any fee involved. But yeah, I don't think, Angel Di Maria, will come back to Manchester United. Don't forget we had Angel Di Maria under the Louis van Gaal era. We got him from Real Madrid for just under £60 million, so he's actually on that list as one of our most expensive signings. We also, he enjoyed 1 season at the club, yeah. He enjoyed 1 season at the club, did Angel Di Maria. Enjoyed a good start to his Man United career, but then, he just basically turned into a flop, did Angel Di Maria. So then, basically, a year later, we sold Angel Di Maria to PSG for just, was it under £50 million, and now Di Maria's been a long-serving player at PSG. He's now into his 5th season with them. He's Angel Di Maria. He has played against us, as Angel Di Maria since he left us, because don't forget, we played PSG in the Champions League last season. So Angel Di Maria played against us then, and I don't think he likes Manchester United, so I don't think, that swap deal will go through, but disregarding any swap deal, for PSG to, I think, to be able to afford Pogba, they'd have to either offload Mbappe or offload Neymar, because Neymar and Mbappe are the 2 most expensive players in the world. But I can't see, Paul Pogba going to PSG. I may be wrong, but I can't see him going to PSG. I'll reiterate what I've said before. I think if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United when the transfer market reopens, I think he'll either go to Real Madrid. If he doesn't go to Real Madrid, he will go to Juventus. Now, don't forget also too, Barcelona have been in for Paul Pogba in the past. Now, obviously, like I updated you the other day. Didn't I? There was reports coming out from the French press saying that Zinedine Zidane, wants Paul Pogba. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane has been a long admirer of the player. And it also said, that Real Madrid have identified Paul Pogba as their #1 priority target. But Real Madrid have got quite a few midfielders on their agenda. Don't forget Eduardo Camavinga is one player on their agenda. Reports have been coming out today saying that Manchester United have expressed an interest in Eduardo Camavinga and that. Don't forget Donny van de Beek's also been on Real Madrid's agenda, because, Real Madrid are looking to do more business when the transfer market does reopen. Even though Real Madrid did recruit a good 5 or 6 players in last summer. Obviously, they got Eden Hazard, Luka Tovacic, Ferland Mendy, Rodrigo, Eden Militao. They are the players, I think, they did recruit in Real Madrid. But obviously, Real Madrid are also looking to offload players. They're looking to get rid of James Rodriguez. They're looking to get rid of Dani Ceballos on a permanent transfer. They're looking to get rid of Bale. They're looking to get rid of, I think, Jovetic, because he hasn't been impressive for them. And Karim Benzema is coming to an end of his career with Real Madrid. So they are definitely going to offload players. But, obviously, back to last summer, Paul Pogba's preference, was to make a move to Real Madrid. But, the main explanation why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him. Because, we said last summer we wanted £180 million for Paul Pogba. So we was basically, just demanding over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. But Real Madrid were not willing to meet that £180 million valuation. Like I said, Mini Raiola, Pogba's agent, he's got a good relation with Real Madrid. Also, too, Pogba, I think, has got a very, very good relationship with Zinedine Zidane. And Pogba, was talking a lot about Real Madrid last year. Yes, he wasn't that. And, like I said, now Real Madrid are still in for him. Paul Pogba now has got the same perception as what he had last summer, because Paul Pogba still wants to leave the football club. But, there is a lot of uncertainty over his future. Of course, Ed Woodward's had quite a few negotiations with his agent, Mini Raiola, to try and resolve his future, like I said, and to stop, Mini Raiola making public attacks against the club, because he's made a number of public attacks against the club since the turn of the year. But at least in the last couple of years, Mini Raiola has been working on trying to get his client a transfer away from Manchester United completing and that. So yeah, obviously, he recently said that Ed Woodward has made a decision on Paul Pogba, and he says, the club are determined to sell him. Obviously, he recently said, we could only get around £70 million for Paul Pogba, so that's like £19 million less than what we paid for him. Obviously, the Spanish expert came out last week, and he actually expects Paul Pogba to sign a new long-term contract at Manchester United. But it's recently confirmed we have decided not to trigger that 1-year extension on his contract. So that means Pogba's got exactly now 1 year remaining on his contract at Manchester United. But obviously, he's only played 8 times this season, Pogba, for the football club. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries. Obviously, he hasn't played since Boxing Day, and he hasn't started from the start since September. Yeah. And he sustained quite a few injuries during his Manchester United career. But don't forget, not too long ago, Paul Pogba gave an interview to the United podcast. And, he was talking about, the issues he's had with injuries. He also responded to the criticism that he received from Graham Souness, because Graham Souness has been criticising him persistently. Also, he explained, what convinced him to leave Manchester United back in 2012. Because don't forget, we had Paul Pogba under the Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances, and we did make a mistake letting him go on a free transfer and that. And obviously, was it over a month ago now? This was obviously, before all the football was suspended. Obviously, he had Solskjaer coming out in Austria saying that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season. You also, before that, Paul Pogba said, he was interested in staying at the football club, and he was interested in extending his contract at Manchester United. Because, to be quite honest with you, I think Paul Pogba, would go very, very well alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. I really, really think, they would make a good midfield partnership. Now, if Pogba and Bruno Fernandes were to play in our midfield, obviously, Fernandes would be in number 10, and obviously, Paul Pogba would be in the number 6. But we're looking for someone to partner up with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. So I don't know, maybe Paul Pogba could stay at least for another year, but I don't think he will be here for the foreseeable future. Obviously, I think Paul Pogba's made around 150 appearances for Man United in all competitions. It's something like that, or just under, and scored around 31 goals. He's won 2 trophies with the club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. And that, don't forget, Pogba endured a very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, did Pogba. And Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club. Paul Pogba, as it stands now, though, with a year left in his contract, he's still one of the highest paid players, because he's on like £300,000 a week, is Paul Pogba. But there you go. And, Pogba and Solskjaer's relationship has deteriorated, for quite a while now, to be quite honest with you. But Solskjaer knows Paul Pogba really, really well, because obviously, he watched Paul Pogba grow and develop, and he is only the age of 27, is Paul Pogba, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I think he revealed a couple of weeks ago that his first choice preference would be to go to Juventus, definitely in that. So yeah, but if we did get rid of Paul Pogba, it would definitely, free up our wage bill, it would help us with our rebuilding process. But me personally speaking, I think Paul Pogba's worth at least £100 million. Don't forget, we've said a lot that we want around £150 million for the player. But like I said, due to this coronavirus pandemic, a lot of teams are under financial pressure. And like I said, a lot of clubs' transfer budgets will be reduced, and players will be going for less, than what they're worth. And that's just how it is at the moment and that. So yeah, so revert back to what I said, Juventus planning to put a swap deal in for Pogba. They're willing to offer us at least one of their players, and I've already gone through with you the possible players that they could offer us. So that is the latest news on him. And I think Solskjaer's had some negotiations with Paul Pogba regarding his future at the football club. I'll learn of that. But could still possibly stay at Manchester United. Now, let's delve into the news, of what players I think, Man United are going to get rid of, when the transfer market does reopen. Now, like I said to you, I think we're going to get rid of around 5 or 6 players when the transfer market does reopen. Now, definitely know one of the players that I think is going is Phil Jones. I think definitely know Phil Jones is going to be leaving the football club. Of course, Phil Jones, he's been a long-serving player at Manchester United. He's now into his 9th season at the football club, is Phil Jones. Of course, I think we got him from Blackburn for just over £17 million. Was it back in 2011 or was it 2012? I can remember rightly. But yeah, but he doesn't even get in the team now. His appearances are limited, Phil Jones. I think Phil Jones is like our 5th or 6th choice centre-back. And we have got a lot of centre-halves in the team. You know, we've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backup centre-halves. You've got, obviously, Foster Mental that can also play as a centre-half. You've obviously, Rojo and Small, they're out on loan at the moment. So there is a lot of centre-halves in the team. But I think, we really did make a bad mistake by giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract last season. But I think we can get rid of him when the transfer market reopens. Maybe we can get around £9 or £10 million for him, so we can cash in for the player. But he has been here since the Ferguson era as Jones. I think we'll definitely get rid of Marcus Rojo on a permanent transfer. I was reading reports regarding Rojo the other week, and it actually said that he's keen on his loan being extended at Estudiantes. There's no point Rojo coming back to Manchester United after his loan, because obviously Rojo isn't even going to get in the team anyway. I think Rojo did enjoy around 5 or 6 years with the club, and I think he was too inconsistent. He never really got his opportunities, let's be honest, and he was very, very injury prone. Sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player, did Rojo. So I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of him permanently. I think, we'll also get rid of Chris Smalling permanently. It did say, quite a few weeks ago, due to the financial difficulties, Roma may not be able to get him on a permanent transfer. Even though Roma do want to get him on a permanent transfer, they may not be able to. I think we've said want around £25 million if we're going to get rid of Chris Smalling on a permanent transfer. Of course, Chris Smalling, did enjoy 9 years at Manchester United, so he was another long-serving player. Could still come back to the Premier League, Smalling, but I don't think, Manchester United will take him back. I think the mistake we made last season, was not getting rid of Jones. We should have got rid of Jones instead of Smalling, because I think Smalling is a much better centre-half than Phil Jones. So, yeah. I also, definitely believe we are going to get rid of Jesse Lingard and Andrews Pereira, because they're also two liabilities of Jesse Lingard and Andrews Pereira. As you all know, I've got strong reservations about both players. Like I said, I think Jesse Lingard is one of our worst players. Jesse Lingard has not registered 1 goal or 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year. So that just indicates how inconsistent he has been. And like I've said before, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club, reflecting on the number of years he's been here, he should be putting much more better performances out. You can play Lingard in number 10 and put him on the right, but wherever we play him, we just can't seem to get the best out of him. And he has lost the confidence of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Lingard. But since he arrived with Bruno Fernandes, Lingard's found game time very, very difficult. And Lingard's got exactly now a year left on his Manchester United contract. Andrews Pereira, he was playing regularly throughout the course of this season, but that was due to Scott McTominay's injury. But like I said, since McTominay came back, Pereira's appearances have been coming mainly from that substitute bench. Pereira only became a regular last season anyway for Man United, so yeah, he's another player we can get rid of. So we can cash in for Lingard and we can cash in for Andrews Pereira. I think we need to try and get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer. Obviously, like I said to you on my video yesterday, Sanchez is now facing a dilemma because Inter Milan are not going to be getting him on a permanent transfer. We don't want him back at Manchester United, but there you go. So what's going to be happening with Alexis Sanchez? Now, I did say, didn't I, his wages are having a really, really bad effect on the football club, Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, his wages at Man United are 400 grand a week, rising up to 500 grand a week based on bonuses and image rights. Alexis Sanchez. And Sanchez, did enjoy a difficult 18 months with Manchester United. We got him back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. And, we thought Sanchez would have lived up to expectations, but he didn't, surprisingly, because he did enjoy a good 3.5, 4 years with Arsenal. He also did well under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona, did Sanchez. But, his international manager came out recently, he said that Sanchez has endured a traumatic, torturous year because he had difficult time. He's having a difficult time at Inter Milan. He had a difficult time at Man United. So probably Sanchez could come back to the football club and he could see out the remainder of his contract. He is under contract with the football club until 2022. But despite the fact that Sanchez is on loan with Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying him like 300 grand a week, and Inter Milan are paying like the other £100,000 a week. So yeah, so we're not willing to take him back. But Solskjaer said in January that, he will, come back to prove everybody wrong. And I think Sanchez is now in his early 30s. So yeah, they're the players I think, that are rumoured to be possibly leaving Manchester United. But like I've said anyway, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think a total of 9 players have left since he came in. Obviously, some players have gone on permanent transfers. And of course, we have loaned some players out. Obviously, I've been keeping up to date as well of what players, Manchester United have been linked with. Like I said to you recently, Jadon Sancho now to Man United is in doubt. Jack Grealish to Man United is in doubt. The likes of Kalidou Koulibaly to Man United is in doubt. But yeah, there has been so many players on our agenda. But it just got recently revealed that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had 9 players on his transfer shortlist before Ed Woodward come out with this statement. Now, Ed Woodward, as you all know, I give you the news regarding Ed Woodward recently. He come out and give a statement. He confirmed it on a fans forum. And he says, we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So what he means in that aspect is, we won't be spending hundreds of millions of pounds on players. So basically, Ed Woodward has ruled big transfers out to Manchester United, of course, due to the financial impact with the coronavirus crisis. So Ed Woodward insists that Manchester United won't be spending big. This is what, Ed Woodward has basically said. And obviously, Man United have been very, very critical of Ed Woodward this season. Of course, well, we've been critical of him for several years, should I say. Ed Woodward has been at the football club since, 2012. So I think now this is his 8th season at Manchester United. Ed Woodward's, being criticised for a couple of reasons. I will outline the reasons now why he's being criticised. Obviously, with how poor our recruitment's been in the last 6 or 7 years. Obviously, we've been criticised for overpaying for players. Of course, we paid like 89 million for Pogba, 75 million for Lukaku, 50 million for Fred, 40 million pounds for Matic, 80 million pounds for Harry Maguire. So, we have been criticised for that. And he's also been criticised for his poor selection of managers and stuff like that, because, we have sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. And Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club. Of course, we sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. But, in the last 6 or 7 years, Man United have been playing catch-up. And, we spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting new players in. This is including, what we've spent under Solskjaer so far. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. I've already gone through with you, the players that we have recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. And Ed Woodward, by the way, I don't think he's got any intentions of appointing a director of footballing. Because obviously, back to last summer, there was talks of Man United getting a director of football, to change the structure and that on the club. There was quite a few former Man United players linked with that role. But I don't think Ed Woodward is no longer interested now in us getting a director of football. United have also been doubting, the club's ownership, the Glazers. The Glazers have been here several years, it's now, I think they're now into the 15th year at Man United because they've taken over in 2005. I think, the Glazers have taken like £1 billion, is it, out of the football club or something like that. It's in that range. But we've also, had a lot of doubts about the Glazers. We've had a lot of doubts about the Glazers and that. But, like I said, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his plans, for when the transfer market does reopen. He has got the backing of Ed Woodward. He has got the backing of the Glazers. Obviously, Ed Woodward is determined to back him. Of course, Ed Woodward said on numerous occasions throughout the course of this season that, Solskjaer's job is safe. Even though, we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's, still determined to back him. Of course, I liked what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out with the other week. because, he does insist, he said, we will exploit the transfer market. So what he means is, Solskjaer believes we can get the right calibre players into the football club and that. This is what Solskjaer does believe. And, I've got to make an admission. I think, we have improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. We've really, really improved in the transfer market. And what I mean is, I think we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment. But, Solskjaer's looking to make around 4 signings when the transfer market reopens because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders next season. And I hope, we can win the league within the next 2 to 3 years because, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So we haven't won it for 7 years. The last time we did win it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. We are the most successful team in England because we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But we've got to make an admission, the likes of City and Liverpool are strides ahead of us at the moment. I think, they'll want to, strengthen up when the transfer market does reopen as well. They'll want to, strengthen up. But Solskjaer's identified the areas where he does want to strengthen up. He wants to bring a centre forward in, he wants to bring a right winger in, and he also wants to bring a midfielder in. Also, too, there's still some reports emerging out saying that he wants to bring a centre-half in. But we do know one thing, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And I think a lot of people are excited about his transfer strategy. But, he's enjoyed 3 transfer windows so far, Solskjaer, and he's spent around, £220 million, and he has recruited 5 players into the football club. But does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows because he is still in the process of rebuilding and it is a transition period like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year. I'm still sceptical that Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for the club, because if it doesn't work out next season, that's when, Manchester United need to get rid of him. If we do decide to get rid of him, whenever, then obviously, we're going to have to pay around, I don't know how much, but we'll have to pay something in compensation because Solskjaer's still got 2 years remaining on his Manchester United contract and that. But there you go. So, yeah, that's everything to update you with and that. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And there will be more videos coming up tomorrow. So take care, God bless, see you all again very, very soon.